the state plans to execute 7 inmates in 11 days.
It's been a 25-year nightmare for the victims. It's time for that justice to be carried out.
The state's effort to execute a number of death row inmates hits a major legal snag.
The first 2 of the unprecedented executions have been blocked by the Arkansas Supreme Court.
What about their victims?
It's a roller coaster ride. They need to set something and leave it.
And up to the minute, we are monitoring breaking news as the state of Arkansas and the entire country wait to see if Arkansas will carry out a lethal injection tonight for the first time in 12 years. Good evening and thank you for joining us tonight at 10 o'clock, everyone. I'm Bob Clausen.
And I'm Ashley Ketz, live at the Cummins unit tonight, where here we are in the 10 o'clock hour. A lot has progressed, yet we are still in a holding pattern.
Supreme Court of the United States maintains Davis's stay. It maintains
means
Davis's
no execution right now.
No execution
as of April 17th.
Yeah.
In the past hour, the Arkansas Supreme Court paving the way for one of tonight's executions. Ladell Lee's execution is set to happen in about 2 hours.
We've got team coverage for you tonight, trying to bring all of this together. We are live with insight from Marcy Manley in Little Rock. We are live here on Cummins Prison with the very latest on what we'll be developing throughout the evening. We are also live in Washington, D.C. Drew Petrimo keeping an eye on the United States Supreme Court and anything that should happen up there.
And good evening, everyone. This just in to Fox 16 and KARK. Breaking news. The Supreme Court of the United States has just issued a statement saying it has denied all of condemned inmates Ladell Lee's motions for executions. Simply put, Ladell Lee will be executed tonight.
That was about 30 minutes ago or so, so I would assume just about any minute
and guys,
we should be hearing something.
Curious.
It's official. It's official. Ladell Lee just became Arkansas's first lethal injection in more than a decade. That is the tweet from Jesse Tenure. It has happened. It is done. It is final.
Time of death, 11:56.
It's over.
Before midnight.
So Ladell Lee is has died from lethal injection tonight.
Now, covering every county, this is your statewide newscast. Arkansas Today. In high definition.
I'm so sorry. I wish I could take it back, but I can't.
He didn't want straightened out. He wanted the life he had.
Good Monday afternoon. I am Aaron Nolan. The state is moving forward with plans to execute these 2 death row inmates. Jack Jones and Marcel Williams are scheduled to die by lethal injection beginning at 7 o'clock tonight. We do have team coverage this afternoon. Drew Petrimo is live in Washington, D.C., where the U.S. Supreme Court could decide a case which could impact future executions. Victoria Price is at the Cummins unit in Lincoln County. But first, let's go to Marcy Manley, who's been following the legal issues of all of these executions. Marcy, we started Monday. Things are continuing to develop. In fact, just moments ago, there has actually been a ruling on the case of Jack Jones.
Yeah, one of the several rulings, rather, just like in those previous cases there. And there are currently cases pending in state and federal courts regarding Williams and Jones. The 8th Circuit just handing down this decision denying his stay of execution. We're tracking a total of 9 cases at this point.
Donna, it's official. Jack Jones, a condemned inmate who's been on death row for more than 20 years, has been executed. This according to Jesse Tenure, who just sent out a tweet. Bob and Donna, as you can see here, Jesse Tenure has finally made her way out after witnessing, one of the executions. Marcel Williams. First of all, how are you doing?
Honestly, fine. I mean, it was very methodical. It was, as far as we could tell, the inmate wasn't having any sort of trouble throughout it, any sort of problems. And so for all of us, I mean, it was, once it did happen, once it started, it was honestly, like I keep saying, we just kept doing our role, and it was not horrible to watch, to be there.
And tonight at 10, we are following the latest breaking developments as we await word on the final of 4 scheduled executions in Arkansas. Right now, we're in limbo as we wait for a decision from the United States Supreme Court.
Stephanie Sharp joining us now. You spent a lot of time with some folks, and to say that this has been emotionally raw for a lot of them is an understatement. A lot of them taking a very unique approach to dealing with this and also helping others deal with it.
Yeah, that's exactly right, Bob. And of course, as we wait for all these legal challenges, we have to look back on what put Kenneth Williams on death row in the first place. And it's been nearly 2 decades since he was convicted of killing a college cheerleader. Dominique Nikki Hurd was just 19 years old, and she was a student at the University of Arkansas at Pine Bluff when she was killed. Her mom, Vicki Williams, remembers her only biological daughter as someone who was full of life. Nikki was studying to be a doctor at the University of Pine Bluff when she and a friend were kidnapped, robbed, and shot by Kenneth Williams. Her mother says she forgives Williams, but says she wonders if other tragedies could have been avoided if Kenneth Williams had been sentenced to death in the first place for killing her daughter.
Kind of felt like if they would have given him that at first, maybe could have saved some more lives.
Nikki's family is not here tonight, and they say they are ready to move forward also while remembering their daughter. Looking at another victim, not everyone wants to see Kenneth Williams put to death. The last person killed by Williams was Michael Greenwood, who died in a car crash Williams caused while fleeing from police in Missouri. Greenwood's daughter, Kayla, is now close friends with Williams' daughter, Jasmine, and just yesterday helped her and her daughter see Williams one last time. And here's what they had to say about the situation.
For me, I just put myself in her shoes, and it just feels like I would be able to see my dad, and I would be able to see my dad meet my children.
He said tomorrow, like, no matter what happens, he will at least be more at peace now, knowing that he was able to see me and my daughter, and as well as everything the Greenwood family has done for him.
I think we've got...
Yeah, just breaking news right now. Kenneth Williams has been executed.
Time of death, 11:05.
Just 4 minutes ago.
So Kenneth Williams now the 4th person to be put to death in the state of Arkansas in the last 7 days.
Mitch just put out a tweet saying that you thought that something might have gone wrong. What were you seeing that led you to believe that?
Well, there was a lot of heavy chest pumping, a lot of heavy breathing, even after they turned off the microphones.
Dangerous winds and floods are being blamed for at least 7 deaths.
Arkansas families left to deal with the aftermath.
Governor Asa Hutchinson declaring a state of emergency.
Flooding so severe in northeast Arkansas, officials have had to call for mandatory evacuations.
People have about 10 more hours until they have to be out of here.
We was around here in 2011. We knew she had to get out.
The governor just wrapped up a press conference urging all those people that should have been out at 8 o'clock this morning to leave immediately.
Levee is probably going to breach any minute.
35 residents we know are at an emergency shelter at this hour.
Just the act of the gods, the perfect storm in the right situation.
Instead of cashing in on low prices, he's sizing up how much flood damage he could be facing at his Pocahontas office and storage units. This restaurant here dangerously close to the water, overtaking it totally and coming inside at this hour.
Officials with the city of Pocahontas tell me that a levee failure to our east this morning actually providing a little bit of flood relief.
And I'm told right here it's gone down about 3 feet from where it was before the levee breach. You can see the parking lot is pretty much entirely drained out, aside from a few puddles here and there.
Pocahontas gradually starting to pick up the pieces after that river did reach record levels. Cody Grice had several friends help him sandbag the perimeter of his house earlier this week.
We got back and, we're dry.
We had to pull up all the carpets. I've been through this once before, and the other time it helped, but it didn't get hardly as high as it did this time.
Just as bad as I thought it was going to be.
So far, officials are estimating that from the flooding, about 50 homes were lost and 150 more were damaged.
This is pretty bad from what I've seen, especially for a small rural area. They need a lot of help here.
Live from Arkansas's breaking news leader, Fox 16 News at 5:30 starts now.
Today, Fox 16 is teaming up with the American Red Cross to help flood victims in northeast Arkansas. Your donation, no matter the amount, will help the people of Pocahontas rebuild after last week's historic flooding. To donate, call the number that you see there on the screen, 501-340-4922. Or you can always go to our website, fox16.com. Your generosity will help a community that desperately needs it right now. In addition to Pocahontas, your dollars will also help flood victims all over the state. Good evening, everyone. I'm Donna Terrell. I'm so glad you're with us tonight for this special edition of Fox 16 News at 5:30. We have team coverage of the flooding aftermath in Northeast Arkansas. All of our crews are in Pocahontas tonight. Caitlin Reardon, Jonathan Roselle. But first, let's check with my co-anchor, Kevin Kelly. And Kevin, I know you've had a chance to get up close and personal with these neighborhoods and inside of homes to see exactly what's happening there.
Yeah, Donna, and you really don't get a complete picture of just how devastating these floods were for the people who live in this particular area until you're actually standing in this neighborhood. We're coming to you live from the corner of Vicky and Pace Street. This is in the Roble addition. The police chief who monitors this area referred to it earlier in the day as the war zone. Imagine as you look down this street, a wall of 3 to 4 feet of water just barreling down this street. That was the case several days ago. Obviously, the water has receded, but now we're into cleanup mode as you see piles and piles of debris, personal belongings that now litter the front yardways. These are items that meant something to the homeowners, but are now ruined because of all that water. To give you a better idea of just how high the water came and just how devastating it is, I want to take you inside this house. The homeowner, kind enough to let me come in, he is not here, but take a look at this. I mean, we got construction crews ripping out drywall. You can see right here on this line, this is basically how high the water got. All the drywall had to be ripped out. These studs are now soaked and will have to dry. And then the contractor said it's going to take at least a week, not until next week, before he can actually start some of the necessary repairs by putting up new drywall. This is just one example of the damage done to more than 50 homes which were destroyed, another 100 that received serious damage. For another perspective, in a different location not too far away, I want to bring in Fox 16's Caitlin Reardon, who will give us an idea of just how bad the damage is where she is. Caitlin?
Well, Kevin, what we're dealing with where I am right now, which is off of 67 North, 166 is this highway, and we're dealing with the fact that there is still water here. We can't even get through these roads. Now, we have a truck coming across now. I'm going to get out of the way, but typically this road is closed to traffic.
When the storms moved in,
we're talking about 60 to 70 mile per hour winds,
and the water began to rise, the Arkansas storm team was ready.
A section of road can be washed out.
No matter the threat, no matter the time, we're always ready to keep you safe.
You have another round of storms that are coming your way.
The Arkansas Storm Team on Fox 16.
We do have a new tornado warning. You see that polygon there in red?
Very strong indication of rotation.
See the traffic really slowing down with some of that very heavy rainfall.
Behind me, we're seeing a look at downtown Little Rock, the heavy rain.
But then there'll be like a gust of wind, and then there'll be a lot of rain.
We could see wind speeds up to 60 miles per hour.
Some very gusty winds associated with the storm.
Measured sustained wind of 68 miles per hour.
Look at Searcy a little bit earlier.
Looking over towards the Sherwood area.
But we are ready.
We're going to still have some flood problems around, even once the rain has come to an end.
We have you covered from every angle this morning. We will have fun here in studio, but we're also live in Little Rock, Monticello, and Pine Bluff. 3.5 inches of snow, 4 ice.
Aaron, it's been snowing steady since about 10:30 last night.
All this snow coming down right now. It's blanketed white out here.
You can see it's a wet roadway now.
Just above a dusting, about an inch.
As you can see, it's a parking lot of 18-wheelers piled up in the snow.
Kelly, I do want to see a snow angel.
I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. Here.
When violence broke out at Power Ultra Lounge, Fox 16 was the first station on the scene.
They do not believe this is terror-related.
With continuous coverage all morning. Because the safety of our city is important to us.
To do everything we can in our power to curb some of this violence.
Fox 16, your breaking news leader.
We do know that 17 people, according to police, 17 people were shot. Some people were hurt, were shot. Some people were hurt because they were trampled trying to get out of the facility. Jonathan Roselle is at UAMS where 9 victims were taken.
We do know that one victim, a woman, was in critical condition initially this morning. She, we're told by police, is doing better at this hour right now.
17 people shot at this club.
right here, Power Ultra Lounge, right in the heart of downtown Little Rock. You can see this is Broadway running this way, Interstate 30 here, the River Market in this location, Power Ultra Lounge right in the middle of it all. Here is the bird's eye view of that club. You can see, Donna, as you were just reporting, as we kind of zoom in, let's kind of walk through what we were seeing here. You can see the windows there, Donna. Those are the windows that were broken. If we can go down to street level, Alan. Here we go. All right, hold it right there for just a second. Okay, those windows to the top right corner of your screen are broken. What you're telling me is that we have had reporters who can say that people were jumping out of those windows, possibly hitting that red awning you see there to get to safety.
People were shot overnight at a club in downtown Little Rock.
Some sort of dispute broke out between individuals that were inside. An exchange of gunfire took place.
Shots just got fired and everybody just took off running.
No mother should have to go through this. They need to put the guns down, stop the violence.
When does this gun violence in Little Rock, when does it end?
I could have possibly had to try to sit down and explain to my grandbaby why her mother wasn't coming home. You know, this is unreal.
We've got to get a handle on this. It's got to be done.
We can't let this define who we are.
Good evening, everyone. Thanks for joining us both on KRK4 and Fox 16. I'm Kevin Kelly.
And I'm Victoria Price. A very, very big story we're following here. That shooting happening at the Power Ultra Lounge on West 6th Street just before 2:30 this morning. Take a look at this map right here. As you can see, the club is right in the heart of downtown Little Rock.
Yeah, here's what we know at this hour. At least 25 people were shot, 3 others injured while leaving the scene. It happened during a performance by a group from Memphis called Finesse 2 Times.
Now, miraculously, not a single casualty from this, despite how many people who were shot. All the victims here were sent to several hospitals in Little Rock, North Little Rock, and Conway.
Yeah, and according to police, the youngest of those victims, just 16 years old. And so far, no one has been arrested. Little Rock police, along with the mayor, just wrapped up a news conference at City Hall. Our very own Mitch McCoy was there. He joins us live with the latest. Mitch.
Yeah, Kevin and Victoria, good evening to both of you guys. About a minute up the road is City Hall, and that is where this news conference took place. But I want to show you guys exactly what's happening here at this nightclub at 6th and Louisiana. We're about, what, 15 hours after that first gunshot started being fired, and it is still a very chaotic scene. You have crime scene units here right now. You have broken glass, which we're told by the mayor and the police chief somebody jumped out of.
Kevin, now her family tells me that she is actually one of the 2 people in critical condition tonight. They say that she was shot in her shoulder and she could possibly lose her arm. And her family tells me that she was just an innocent bystander at the concert last night. They also say, and they want to send a message, that the violence has to stop here in Central Arkansas.
The only thing you hear is your child name and gunshots. And I still can't believe it.
Renee Dominic says her 19-year-old daughter, Dejana Mixon, still on a ventilator in the hospital.
And I don't wish this on nobody, no mother.
She was shot at the Power Ultra Lounge shooting early Saturday morning.
Some friends knocked on my door at 3-something this morning.
She was able to talk with her today. Charmaine, she's in studio. What can you tell us?
Exactly, Stephanie. Nakia Baker says seeing her daughter covered in blood is the worst moment of her life. But worse than that, having to tell her granddaughter that her mother had been shot.
But she decided she wanted to go to this concert. And all that could have changed in the blink of an eye.
Yeah, so far Herman Lewis hasn't answered phone calls or responded to requests for comment about the shooting at his club, aside from hanging up on Jonathan Roselle. But we have learned that there appear to be court cases for debts owed against Herman Lewis in the past month, and it appears there may be other issues like taxes owed as well. Alcoholic beverage control officials say there have been 7 violations cited against the Power Ultra Lounge since 2012, including multiple violations violations for underage drinking. ABC has suspended the lounge's mixed drink license with at least 3 potential violations at play at this point. Lewis will have the chance to appear at an ABC hearing on July 10th. Those potential violations against the club at this point include allowing possession of weapons on the premises, disorderly conduct, and failure to be a good neighbor. City officials say they intend to try and shut down the Power Ultra Lounge location.
It just took something out of my heart that will never be replaced.
How am I going to tell my 6-year-old little girl about this? I just didn't want to believe it.
We all need to get serious and come together, all communities, in order to get this stuff under control.
Help Arkansas
declare victory
over violence.
KRK is kicking off another challenge. Many of us see or witness a daily battle in Central Arkansas, a matchup to overcome violence. And we have a choice here. We can sit back and wonder how to change it, or we can do something about it. There are plenty of winners out there already doing their part to make where we live a better place, but we want to take it a step further, and we want to help you help your community.
We will not be given to violence. We will not be given to war.
So I know the struggles that these kids have been going through.
Tim says the need for mentors is ever growing and required to reduce the number of youth bouncing out of bounds and into violence.
I want a mentor because I want people to help me with my communication.
It teaches me a lot of stuff, like what to do right.
The way you can really help solve some of the problems that we deal with in our community is getting involved in people's lives.
What an impact you can make by signing up to be a mentor. 1 hour a week can make a huge difference in a child's life.
We've had over 100 people sign up for mentoring.
There's a huge need, and I wanted to do something more with it, so I thought about a job fair.
Around 700 job seekers showed up to the 6-hour event.
I was brought up in a home of pain. I was brought up in a home of violence.
It's the people around that give when they might not even have directly involved with the situation.
Community members and city leaders meet tonight brainstorming ideas on how to make neighborhoods safer.
Every seat in the room was taken.
People gave these passionate pleas, we can't just be sitting in a room like this. We have to go to these communities, literally knock on doors, get people out of their homes.
And that's exactly why these folks are out here today. They realize that crime can't be ignored, and it's got to be something that's got to be pushed back, even if it's just one step at a time.
Let's go! I want to be a part of any group that's working toward ending it.
I want to see things change. I want to see it change for the better.
Victory!
But KARK Fox deserves a huge recognition for what they are attempting to do. They are attempting to move us from a very comfortable and familiar place, which is meeting, which we're experts at, and get from meeting to actually taking action and doing something about the things that concern us.
We saw 25 people get shot at a nightclub earlier this month. There have been multiple murders again this week. How are you getting involved to try to push back on that?
Thanks, Drew, and I appreciate Channel 4 and Fox 16's personal engagement on the community conversation about this.
And they could have very easily been here like most media outlets do. You come, you report, you do your soundbite, and then you move on. Well, some folks there actually wanted to get involved about some of the things they were seeing. And I've been in law enforcement for 25 years, and I've never seen a media outlet take this kind of step to get involved.
Victory!
take back our community.
You've probably seen the walks.
Victory over violence! So we met, we marched, we talked, and now it's time to get to work.
But this Saturday, Victory Over Violence took a different route to talk about an even louder movement.
Embracing communities neighborhood by neighborhood and saying, let's reject violence, let's give kids hope.
Congressman French Hill helped explain the 10 community-based goals announced at the news conference Saturday.
Read to kids in school, Keith Jackson after-school program, Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts, Boys and Girls Club. But now they're all collaborating, focusing on where we need the mentorship and the help the most.
100 groups coming together to focus on 10 goals to fight violence without guns in Central Arkansas.
So not law enforcement, but what can ordinary citizens do?
Goals include mentor match, to faith in action, to pushing out not just the words, but the message, victory over violence.
We're hosting a day of service for National Night Out.
10 hours, 120 volunteers.
That's volunteerar.org, September 21st. Second Chance Job Fair.
These announcements and even more events planned and programs show ideas turning into actions.
10 groups working to help our kids see hope in the future and stay away from violence.
The 10 small groups will focus on bringing each goal to life, but it's a community effort to help save every life.
Now I'm going to ask you a very important question, and I want you to be honest with me, okay? How many of you have been bullied? That breaks my heart, and we need to do something about that. It is time for us to step up and stop bullying. Can we do that together?
Join us and step up to stop bullying.
Are you going to stand up and fight bullying with me?
Sponsored by the Little Rock School District and New Beginnings Behavioral Health Services.
Your job.
Making America great again.
Your money.
I'm excited about what we can continue to do.
Your health care.
Now is the time for action.
Your country.
Our world is a more dangerous place when America is not leading.
Decisions being made 1,000 miles away in Washington affect your everyday life. Tonight, you'll get the chance to make your voice heard with the people who represent you in our nation's capital.
From the nation's capital, Washington, D.C., this is a special production from your local election headquarters. Your Voice Arkansas, a congressional forum. Now to your host, Drew Petrimo.
Good evening and thanks for being with us. I'm Drew Petrimo. Tonight, we are looking at the big issues facing Arkansas and the country with all four of the state's U.S. representatives in Washington. This half hour, we're giving you the chance to let your voice be heard by your congressman. If you want to connect with us on social media, use the hashtag YourVoiceAR. We'll be tracking your tweets and Facebook posts throughout the next half hour. That will be the responsibility of our Jessie Tenura back in our studios in Little Rock. She'll be presenting your questions to your representatives this evening. Joining us, our 1st District Congressman Rick Crawford, representing Jonesboro, Batesville, and West Memphis. 2nd District Congressman French Hill, representing Little Rock, Conway, and Benton. 3rd District Congressman Steve Womack, representing Fayetteville, Bentonville, and Fort Smith. And 4th District Congressman Bruce Westerman, representing Hot Springs, Texarkana, and Pine Bluff. Gentlemen, welcome all of you.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you. Thank you. 7 months into the 115th Congress, I want to go around the room. Everybody take a minute. Grade yourselves. How do you think the body has performed so far? What accomplishments do you hang your hat on? And what are some of the failures, if you think there are any? Congressman Crawford?
Well, you know, I think we're doing above average work. You know, we have control of both chambers, control of the White House, and there was an awful lot to clean up.
This is a decision on my claim.
For nearly 6 years.
And it was a denial.
Denied has defined Bill Rhodes' fight for VA benefits.
We're not stationed at one of the Royal Thai Air bases recognized as being associated with herbicide exposure.
A former Marine, he's among hundreds of veterans from the Vietnam War who served on military bases and installations in Thailand.
They don't seem to accept evidence that I present.
Those troops who served in country in Vietnam are presumed to have been exposed to Agent Orange, one of several herbicides used to knock down jungle growth. But it's also now linked to a whole list of diseases. Veterans Administration has admitted to using herbicides in Thailand, but only at a specified list of Air Force bases and only on the perimeter of military installations.
When you find error, it needs to be corrected.
And that's the rub for Bill Rhodes and these 4 other veterans from across the country who sat down with us.
With chronic health conditions.
They believe they have documentation to show they and their fellow troops were exposed to herbicides linked to diseases racking their bodies, despite denials by the VA.
What's the one thing we have in common besides our health problems? Being in Southeast Asia with agent or herbicides being sprayed.
No matter what we did or where we were contaminated.
Ed Henderson has suffered 90% blockages in his heart with no family history of heart disease. He was part of a top-secret unit serving at Nam Sung, not recognized on the VA's list. Type 2 diabetes is plaguing Jay Cole, also with no family history of the disease. He served at Utapao, which is recognized, but the VA hasn't accepted his evidence he served at or near the perimeter, which the VA requires to prove exposure. It's a term that the VA doesn't define, but one that often determines the outcome of cases.
My claim was denied twice, but other aircraft maintenance people working the same flight line have had theirs approved.
I'm not giving up.
Bill, Bruce Goldsberry, and Harmon Snipes all served at Nam Phong, another installation not on the VA's list of affected sites. Bill and Harmon both suffering diseases linked with herbicide exposure, including heart disease, diabetes, and cancers.
I would see spraying from the back of a truck, and it was hand spraying. And do I know what they were spraying at that time? No, I'm not 100% sure.
Veteran Richard Kilgore served both in Vietnam and in Thailand. He wrote a letter saying he personally sprayed herbicides from orange-striped barrels within the Nam Phong base in 1972, and he believes everyone who served there was exposed to Agent Orange.
We didn't ask anybody for it. We didn't get anyone's clearance to do it, but because we used it before, we didn't have any reservations about just taking some and using it.
He also believes aerial spraying doused the site in powerful herbicides, leaving it barren.
They would spray it, and the next day there would just be sticks where there was lush foliage before.
These men say statements in declassified government reports and documents point to all military bases in Thailand having herbicide use. Orders to keep herbicides within the confines of the bases and official statements that hand spraying occurred with little to no accountability should be enough to warrant a change in policy and the law.
We believe in the country, and we did our bit for the country, and all we're asking for is a fair shake.
But so far, this evidence hasn't proved to be enough. While some Thai vets have successfully argued their cases up to the Veterans Board of Appeals, many more are caught up in a backlog that lasts years, or they simply give up.
Mine has been in for 4 years. Other people have said 5 years, 6 years. And VA does nothing about it other than deny, and hope they die.
With his piles of appeal paperwork, Bill knows the odds are stacked against him. But there's a lesson he learned as a Marine that's proving vital now.
You don't ever give up, no matter what. You just don't give up. And that stayed with me.
Working for you, I'm Marcy Manley.
The Vietnam War changed millions of lives worldwide. Young Americans who came back home from Southeast Asia suffered lost limbs, PTSD, and trauma that stayed with them for decades. Many others suffered diseases from exposure to an herbicide the U.S. used in bulk.
And the U.S. used Agent Orange to knock down jungle growth, not realizing it would cause various forms of cancer among thousands who got near it. But it wasn't just inside Vietnam. This summer, Working for You's Marcy Manley talked to several veterans who served in Thailand during the war, who also say they were exposed to it and now suffer serious health defects. They're frustrated now because the VA can't offer them the help they need. That soon may change.
Today, Arkansas Senator John Bozeman helped introduce a bipartisan bill to allow these Vietnam War vets to to prove toxic exposure to Agent Orange to qualify for VA benefits. He says it will eliminate the unreasonable burden they face in proving what they went through. And also now at ArkansasMatters.com, we've got a timeline of how this legislation came into existence and much more on what life has been like for these Vietnam vets.
We just got here about an hour and a half ago. As you can see, the rain is coming down, and just moments ago, the wind started really picking up where we're at right now. The civil support team from Arkansas came rolling in here to the Houston area. People evacuated from their homes came out. They were taking pictures of the trucks, taking video of their trucks, and they were also just telling them thank you as they were walking in.
You can't prepare for something like this.
Kirby Prim's home is surrounded by water, something this Arkansan never thought he'd see.
It's overwhelming.
Steve Dyer also lives in Kingwood. He is a former missionary who worked with the Church of Rock Creek in Little Rock. I'd just like to remind you guys, this is just one neighborhood in Houston. There are several more neighborhoods just like this. As you can see, we're on a boat, and this is typically a neighborhood. This is typically a road. Two former Arkansas students, Blake and Mick, did what they could. They grabbed their boat and launched from what was a road.
It's good. There's a lot of support from everyone around town, and
some families here in Houston haven't had power for days. That's why the Entergy Arkansas lineman crew came here to Texas.
We actually spoke with the lady on the way down here. She got very emotional about her family being trapped in a home.
The National Guard Black Hawk crew down here in the southeast Houston area. Two Arkansas National Guard Black Hawks are in southeast Texas, providing aid and relief in Houston.
Anything we can do to support the Texas National Guard and as well as Louisiana is a huge deal for us to be able to exercise that support.
So it's going to be a long time coming. FEMA said that it's going to last for several years, and a lot of folks here are just ready to get it over with, that's for sure.
Reporting in Beaumont, live in Kingwood. In Houston, I'm Stephanie Sharp.
I don't care what they say, I won't dare look away. My eyes, my dad said I'm winning. Though it may seem dark, but what sets me apart is that I am always believing. 'Cause we are believers. We are believers.
Hey guys, coming to you from South Korea here at the Olympic Park.
Hwasun Hangul, it's where we are right now.
When fans get to the Olympics, there's a lot to worry about, so I had to go play 9. Tara Lipinski, Johnny Weir. Hey guys, how are you?
How are you?
Did you know about the game within the games? It's pin trading, and I promise you Olympic Park was rocking.
The time difference between the United States and here in South Korea is anywhere between 14 and 19 hours.
The Olympics are now underway. Mixed curling earlier this morning, ski jumping happening right now. This is fans and teams and everybody going into the stadium.
We're just so proud to be here representing America.
Skeleton racer for Team USA. His name is John Daly. Of course, we have a John Daly to ourselves.
I definitely can't do what he does in golf. I've tried. Maybe I can keep up with some drinking aspects. Now I'm joking.
Shaun White throws down one of the best performances we've ever seen in a half pipe, and he wins the 100th gold medal in U.S. history. 40 mile per hour to 50 mile per hour winds. It did actually close Olympic Park. Team USA took on Team Slovakia in hockey, and this place was packed.
I gotta get one of those masks, the American Eagle.
Adam Rippon, though, I think actually performed better maybe than some thought. What a cool experience it was to go behind the cameras on the set of the Today Show yesterday morning. I tell you what, Hoda and Savannah are such great people. This was a moment of pride for me being in that arena. They played Born in the USA right after Team USA won.
Did a selfie with Lindsey Vonn. What do you think, $1,000? You think you get $1,000
Oh my goodness. Aaron, go quick.
No way.
Quick, go find Lindsey Vonn.
Oh, okay.
That was quite a bet.
I'm doing wonderful. It's so exciting to be here and really exciting to run into somebody from home.
I have wrestled down our only athlete with Arkansas ties. Say hello to Dominic Markey.
It was pretty emotional.
It was a victorious Switzerland team, a bronze coming home to Arkansas.
We will not be given a vibe.
I not want to do something nice to kind of help those kids.
It's like God had put it in my lap and said, here you go. We will not be
You're supposed to be responsible with what you're being given. Huge sacrifice, and it's a huge commitment.
but we will march.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Distinguished Citizen of the Year, Jerry Jones.
Just as I crossed that Arkansas River, that tail on my plane kind of dipped down. Right at the end of the runway, it might have been 1,000 feet over the house I grew up in. Right as you landed at the field, there. I knew I was going to be here with you tonight. You great honorees, you champions. In a way, it's wonderful, wonderful to be on the team with you.
What a week in Canton, Ohio at the Pro Football Hall of Fame, and what a night last night at the enshrinement ceremony. We thought Jerry Jones might get a little emotional, and he did.
Fearless Friday starts now. Brought to you by Baptist Health.
Hey guys, I'm Ben Creighton down in Saline County. A cold one tonight for a matchup of undefeateds in the 7A Central. Bryant taking on North Little Rock. Which team will come out on top and take the top spot in the conference? I'll have more in just a minute.
I'm Cherisy Chambers, and tonight in Alma, it's a good one. The Airedales are battling it out with the Greenbrier Panthers for the 5A West Conference lead. I'll have the highlights for you coming up.
The Pine Bluff Zebras are hosting the West Memphis Blue Devils. I'm Stephanie Sharp, and we'll have the highlights coming up on Fearless Friday.
I'm Tyler Thomason on a cold night with two red-hot teams, Lake Hamilton and Watson Chapel on Fearless Friday.
I'm Mitch Petrus here at Pulaski Academy again tonight, hosting McClellan. Hey, Wes, you got something on your shirt.
And I'm Mitch Lilly at Magnet Cove. The Panthers hosting Conway Christian tonight. I'll have those highlights. Fearless Friday starts right now.
What's he talking about? I don't have anything on my shirt. Petrus, man, that guy. Football weather is here just in time for the playoff run. Good evening, everybody. I'm Wes Moore. It's a big night for Fearless Friday.
Any nerves on the first day? No.
Good to go, brother. Ready to roll. You know, I mean, it's a game. And we do our work during the week. It's a game night. It's time for the kids to do their thing.
It was finally game day. The Patriots prepared for the long road trip ahead to Star City to kick off not only a new season, but also a new era.
It's exciting. Just the whole school is on you now. They're like, okay, show me something. New coach, new players, show me something. So we have to, it's not nerve-wracking, it's more exciting. You're like, okay, we have something to prove, because people don't really believe in you when the team was 1-9 before. I just woke up with like a real focused state of mind, like I have something to prove today.
Of course, for a 70-minute bus ride, coaches and players alike have their ways of mentally preparing for the battle facing them.
Whenever I can read, then that's a good thing. If I can't read, that means there's talking or too much talking.
Really don't talk to anybody, you know, just listen to music, poetry, stories, you know, just different things like that. You know, get your mind right before the game.
6 minutes, 15 seconds to go. Ball's on the 19. They need to get to about the 11 and a half. Hatcher rolling. Hatcher cutting it back across the field. Hatcher looking for the first down. Hatcher's got the 5. Touchdown, Pulaski Academy.
What a stiff arm by Hatcher to avoid the tackle. Looked like he was going to get tackled for a couple-yard gain, and
I'll tell you what,
stiff-armed on
the
the
thing
house.
about it was he saw the pressure coming off the edge, and he took that upon himself to cut it back. Smart move.
Second straight touchdown run for Lane Hatcher. Look at this. There's your stiff arm. That's what you were talking about. Then he makes another man miss. Good stiff arm there from Hatcher.
Parkview Patriots said they wanted to be back here, and they wanted this opponent. Ethan Henderson blocked from behind, but a foul.
Some big free throws coming up.
The future Razorback heading to the line to cut into this deficit. Just over a minute and a half to play. Calmly knocks down the first.
Everything is crucial at this point.
From the combined newsrooms of KARK4 and Fox 16, breaking news coverage.
And we are cutting into programming right now. Breaking news from Fayetteville. University of Arkansas Athletic Director Jeff Long is no longer in that position. This is according to sources. We're not sure if Jeff resigned or if he was fired from his position.
Yeah, sources telling us that he is no longer with the organization. So again, we're still waiting on information to come in, but we can tell you that he was entering into his 10th year.
Yeah, he was getting into that decade area. He was hired in 2008. His 9th year as vice chancellor, wrapping up, going into that 10th year. But Suzanne, you brought up a great point. All Hog fans and many in Arkansas are going to remember 1 week ago there was a Board of Trustees meeting.
Right. It was here at the UA Pulaski Tech, and that was held Thursday, where the board came together. They were talking. We weren't even sure if they were going to be talking about his fate or Coach Brett Bielema as well, but there were rumors circulating that they were going to be discussing their contracts, and now here we are 5 days later. He's out.
This is your team, your state, your Razorback coverage.
Welcome back to the Pig Trail Nation.
This is Pig Trail Nation on KARK4. Pig Trail Nation, powered by your Arkansas Select Buick GMC dealers.
I never would imagine myself like this.
Over the past 16 years, Shannon Brumley has had to come to terms with his life looking a lot different than he planned.
A spare tire come out of the back of the truck. Hit me.
The young man who was building a career as an electrician, had a new baby at home, and lived to be outdoors, had his life shattered by a car crash.
He should have never came off the ventilator, but he did.
Shannon survived, but is now paralyzed from the neck down.
Go ahead and put your arm down, I'll get it.
In the past few years, a brain hemorrhage, sepsis, and multiple surgeries has set him back, requiring IV antibiotics every 6 hours and constant care. Through the AR Choices program, Shannon receives care at home. His mom is paid as a caregiver so he can have those supports while retaining some independence and a plan for the future.
We're getting older, and there's going to come a time we won't be able to do it.
8,000 other elderly Arkansans and those with physical disabilities rely on this state program to keep them out of nursing homes.
It was important to ensure that beneficiaries were assessed fairly and objectively.
In January 2016, DHS started a new system to award hours.
I know that there's some that may not have agreed with the outcome or the output, but I believe that we're doing the best job possible to meet the needs of our beneficiaries.
That new system uses computer-based assessments to place people into resource utilization groups, or RUGs.
And we place the individual in the appropriate tier and RUG level to meet their needs.
Before, nurses would assess clients and assign hours, with room to adjust based on perceived need. Now answers to 280 questions are plugged into an algorithm or mathematical formula to produce a score. You may have heard of algorithms before. They're essentially the same technology that create rules that produce outcomes. It's what generates your Google search and what's used to decide what shows up in your Facebook news feed. Only in this system, instead of deciding what videos show up on your screen, the formula determines the hours of life-sustaining care someone receives.
The answers that they input, we are assigning those hours based on the RUG level that they are placed into.
According to the Department of Human Services, this system prevents patients with similar needs from receiving vastly different care hours because of nurse discretion. Although there had never been a documented complaint about nurse discretion, DHS says it's being proactive.
We really haven't seen much good come from the algorithms.
Others argue the outcomes have only functioned to punish patients.
There's about 4,000 people across the state of Arkansas have been affected by reductions to the AR Choices program.
The Center for Arkansas Legal Services has received calls from hundreds of people saying their hours had been drastically reduced or even eliminated.
We've had one gentleman come to us. He's 103 years old.
He had been on the program for 13 years and received 156 hours a month, but he was deemed ineligible under the new system.
I'm very thankful.
Shannon had been receiving 56 hours a week or 8 hours a day under the old system.
For a quadriplegic that can do nothing for herself, that's minimal.
Under the algorithm, that dropped.
Cut 37 hours.
Or 5 hours a day.
That's sorry.
A cut of 35%.
I wish they had to be in my position. Yeah, like I said before, 1 week go live my life for 1 week.
I worry a lot about Shannon.
Shannon's limited income from disability wouldn't support hiring someone outside the home to make up the hours.
I think I worry more about what happened when we're not here to care for him anymore.
Over the years, Shannon has found ways
I push forward and explicit
to overcome and find his own version of a quality life. This is the place that you heal.
Yes, this home place, yes.
Everyday challenges like chopping wood and mowing the lawn make him stronger.
Yes, I need
But
those
if the cuts and hours keep coming,
more likely I have to go in nursing home.
Shannon's afraid he and others may end up having to leave home behind. Working for you, I'm Marcy Manley.
But that was last week.
A traumatic head injury in the 80s.
I am 70 years old.
Makes it difficult for David Fisher to move or speak without assistance.
I can only stand up for about 2 minutes.
But when it comes to where he wants to receive his care, his message is perfectly clear.
I have been in 4 different nursing homes over the years, and they are all a bunch of snake pits.
David relies on the AR Choices program through Medicaid to pay his in-home caregiver to help with daily life.
He cannot get up out of the chair to do anything.
David had been receiving 47 hours of paid care a week until the Arkansas Department of Human Services started using a computer program to award hours. Now he receives 10 hours less a week.
Well, I told him it was ridiculous. I told the nurse flat out, but she didn't have the authority to change it.
Some patients.
Former nurse Jane Gray is David's case manager. She's seen many of her clients experience cuts under the new system.
I would say they're doing a grave injustice to these people by cutting their hours so drastically.
Without family members to help with David's needs, his paid caregiver has put in the extra hours without pay.
If Justin didn't just donate his time, I'm afraid David would have to be in a nursing home.
No, the algorithm has wreaked havoc with our clients' lives.
The computation
So that's what this 20-page report is
a complex system where answers to 280 questions
About 60 of them actually matter.
are filtered through an algorithm or mathematical formula.
What happens is they break it down into different kind of categories.
The formula translates to a value and places individuals into a resource utilization group or RUG.
So they sorted you into this category, special care.
There are 23 of these groups, each of them assigned hours of care that are rarely tweaked up or down.
Have you seen anyone under the algorithm and RUG system get any more than 37 hours?
No, to tell you the truth, I have not. They have to just basically be almost at death's door to get more hours than 37 hours. That's what I've seen.
Yeah, from our client's perspective.
According to attorney Kevin DeLeben, clients have no idea how the system works or why their care hours were reduced.
You would still just get 37 hours a week.
Adding no one at DHS understands the algorithm.
Does that seem to make any sense to you?
And DHS hasn't tried to explain the program to patients. Craig Cloud oversaw the new assessment rollout and says knowledge of the formula isn't necessary.
We can compare the output and information within those assessments and very easily explain to you the differences.
The goal was to produce objective outcomes so people with similar conditions received the same amount of hours.
And I believe that the results that we're generating are allowing us to provide the most fair decision.
Crazy.
But critics say there's wide variation of needs even within the groups, and only 60 of the 280 questions factor into the score. How a nurse records a person's needs on even one question can prove pivotal.
The difference of 1 point on one question out of 280 can mean the difference in 49 hours a month of care.
Cloud counters a significant number of people have received more hours under the new system. 2016 estimates showed roughly 4,000 patients, or half the program, had a cut, while the other half an increase or no change at all.
All the people that I take care of, none of them want to go to a nursing home. So please quit cutting their hours so they can have some quality of life and continue to stay in their home.
If the cuts push these people into nursing homes, the cost difference is substantial. Home care services average about $18,000 a year per patient, while nursing home care is about $50,000.
And that's tax dollars that are paying for that. So it is a huge cost savings benefit.
If David's caregiver could no longer volunteer the extra hours, in David's opinion, it would likely spell disaster, living the rest of his life in a nursing home.
I hate those places. they are unfit to live in.
While a computer can make it possible for David to be heard, he doesn't think it should be what decides where and how he lives his life. I'm Marcy Manley, working for you.
Monday at 9, a drunk driver killed his wife.
I have to live with what he's done to me every single day.
Sentenced to 20 years, but there's a catch.
Fixing to get out on a furlough.
It's like vacation from prison, furloughs for good behavior.
Where was the good behavior the night that he took my wife's life?
Monday at 9.
At Fox 16, we're more than just on your side. We uncover the truth, putting everything under a microscope to show you all sides. We influence change because our work doesn't end when the story airs. We fight to make a difference for all Arkansans. We fight to make a difference for you.
So what are all of the things you want at your birthday party?
Cake, balloons, all Power Ranger toys, lots of puppies, friends to come over, Power Ranger activities, Parmesan chicken, spaghetti, bounce house, every single Power Ranger stuff, pink flying unicorn.
How much do you think that's going to cost?
I don't know. Maybe $100,000. 3,200. 571,2299.
Wow.
CW Street Team, we're here at Little Rocks Riverdale to watch CW's Riverdale. Let's go talk to some folks.
I like the darker and the mysterious and the scary and the suspenseful.
He did that with his teacher.
This is not the story we were told.
I'm gonna really like Josie. You really nailed the outfit too. Thank you.
What do you got to say about that?
Go Riverdale!
Watch Riverdale on CW Arkansas.
Thursdays at 8, brought to you by the McClarty Auto Group.
Join the CW Arkansas and the CW Street Team for the Soma Mardi Gras Parade. We'll have free stuff and superheroes. Saturday, February 25th at noon on Main Street. Don't miss it.
Hey guys, CW Street Team here.
And if you were a superhero, who would you be?
Lightning.
Hey, we're live with new superhero Blueberry Car Seat. How are you doing today?
Butterfly girl.
Oh, that's a good one.
Laser eyes and can run really, really fast.
Blueberry Car Seat and Cat Cake. Hey, Cat Cake.
Destroys the world and then I would rule it.
CW Street Team, friend.
We want to be on his side.
You better believe it.
Strike the fast pose. CW Arkansas.
You're home for super shows.
This Thursday night, CW Arkansas Ladies Night at Dickie Stevens.
You and 9 of your friends could win a girls' night with the Travs.
Go to our Facebook page to register to win.
And welcome to our new home here at KRK4 News. We're proud to show it off. It is, of course, your home for news.
Take a look at this gorgeous new set. Worth the wait. Doesn't it feel good?
A new toy at Christmas.
Yes,
you
it
just
is,
can't stop looking at it. It's so pretty. We don't want to mess anything up.